Hey guys, welcome back. So we are just solving the another question on the stack series, largest rectangle in histogram. It's question number 84. So question gives you have an array. It's actually the heights of the bars you have given, and you have to find the largest rectangle it can form. So like for something like this bar, what is the rectangle it can form? For the like height 2, it's can form only of the area 2, and the area you can find is length into the height. Height is actually the given, and you have to find the width actually. Length or width, you can say anything. So length is till it can form like till it have the same value or greater. Now like for if you get there's no left, so it cannot extend its height width. But in the right side, can it extend? Like for the 2, it's no, because the value the right side getting 1. But for similar like 5, it can extend its the value to width in the right side because it had getting greater value in the right side. Okay, and from the left side it's nothing. That's how you get the width. So simple logic, you have know the next get element, previous models, and simple logic is given here. So I'm not just writing the code because you all know the logic. I have just written that code and just explaining what the logic it's actually explain. Like for any elements, you have to find the next smallest element and the previous smallest element. Like for the previous for like this too, if you find the previous smallest element is that this index only, and the next smallest index is still only. So if you have the next smallest element and previous smallest element index like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 is the next smallest index you have, and 1 is the previous smallest index, and you must subtract 4 minus 1, 3, and minus 1, then you get the width of that bar it can extend. Like for 5 it's 2 actually. This is a difference it get from the actually you're getting the difference of can extend width of that bar from the left and the right actually. Okay, so this is a logic where you think so of the next gate element and you know the logic of finding code of next gate element and previous smallest element, and you know for the some one element at the last, if there is nothing at the end, it's words it's be the it's just the last index, it's the smallest, it's n actually, because if you are subtracting something like from the width of like this is something like 1, and you are nothing getting into the right side, so you just subtract all the greater or equal value next no smallest value actually, so it's n only you can by default, and for the left part it's minus 1. Okay, that's how, and let's explain the code. This is the area you have next smallest and previous smallest, you're just calling the function. Yes, in the previous smallest, you know the stack you have to make, and by default I set it minus 1 because it's starting from the left part. So if there is no left part, this smallest value can be the minus 1 only. Okay, not 0 because 0 is already an index, so it can be minus 1. And similarly for the right is n minus 1, not because n minus 1 with the index, so n is the smallest it can be. Okay, because okay, so just starting while not extending, and you are just popping from the stack till it has the great till it has a greater or equal value of the current value. Like for the 5, if in the left side it has greater or equal value, you pop till, because we have to find the smallest. So until now you cannot smallest value from for smallest value, then this value you pop from the stack. This is what you do, and then you when you get the smallest, you stop it and you check it not STMD, you just get the smallest index. You just st.top actually getting the index, so you just put the answer I, and you know that you have to push all the index in the stack and just return previous smallest for all the bars. Similarly for the next elements, similarly you start from n minus 1, and the largest smallest may be the n, because at the for the right it's not anything, not smallest anything, it's actually n, because n minus 1 is the index, so n will be the smallest you can think of, because when you're subtracting from the right side, this is the width now, like this is the width this, so it not be minus 1 to minus 1, it's n this to this, so that's why it's n. And when you get both of them, you know the area is length to breadth, so length is the height of the block, and breadth will be the like next smallest till next smallest till the previous smallest, the distance between them minus 1 is actually equal to the breadth, and your area and check for each block, and when you get that, you have that to return the area. So that simple is the code, that simple is the code. Yes, it's a pretty hard question actually, but it's not coming at me in the mind. You have can be think of the notebooks like multimedia, it's pretty complex, but when you know the logic of the next smallest greatest man for any bar, what can it you think? But for any bar, like how can it make you have the height but you know the breadth, so it can extend its breadth only till it has the value greater than equal to only. That how come the logic to have to find this till we have to find the smallest index of for that bar and the next smallest, so distance between them is actually giving you the breadth actually. Till mean width, actually the extended area it can extend a bit. So for the smallest you get and the next smallest you get, then between those you can extend your width. That's how the you can think, and that's how you think of the next smallest element and previous smallest element. When you just with this logic, next man is when you get the breadth actually and area, breadth into uh, length, or you can say of height actually, and L is height here. So this is how this question will be solved, and we have solved many question and many question of the patterns. Next element, next get element has come now, so it's a pretty good logic. You must know the finding the next smallest element, next greater element. It can be useful in many good question, like something question cannot be directly like this but can be of similar type, like, so you must know the logic of, especially I will say, next determinant and smallest number. You have to know, you can make a previous. If the simple logic is, if you are drawing previously you are moving from left to right, and you have the next smallest, you are find moving from the right to left. So this is the logic you have to think, and nothing the code is from mistake, it's using simple, you are storing the indexes only. Okay, that's the simple logic, you must know the logic. So this is one of the good question, and thank you guys.